well, SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce says that she doesn't support crypto bailouts, and she thinks that the recent market downturn will give the industry a more sustainable foundation for the future. In an interview with Forbes, she said, when things are a bit harder in the market, you discover who's actually building something that might last for the long term and what is going to pass away. So yesterday, we spoke about Sam Bankman-Fried and all of his companies bailing out these companies that are having liquidity issues. And now we have Hester Peirce saying, you know what, it might be better to just let these companies pass away. It's going to lay the foundation for a better future. Will, I see you nodding away there. Do you agree with the SEC Commissioner?
I'll always nod along with you, Jen. Always follow you. I do agree with her. I think that there is a place for this to happen right now. A lot of these companies are insolvent. A lot of these companies have liquidity issues. They are not built to last during this, and you have to let the market do its thing. This does come from like a very aggressive capitalistic stance where you just like let the people who can't perform fail and let the people who can do well with the assets they've been given do better. And that would help everybody else out in the long run, right? You don't want someone who's incompetent running these things because that's going to hurt people in the long run. Don't want to get into specifics here, not name calling at all. But if you're looking at it from like a larger perspective, which Hester Peirce as a government regulator has to do, you would have to come to the conclusion that you need to allow people to fail and allow people to make their own mistakes. This comes against some other decisions that the government has made in the past. 2008 is probably the best example of that, where you saw the government stepped in, right? They tried to help banks out. They tried to pick these banks up when they were failing, when they were overexposed, when they had insolvency issues. And the repercussions we saw from that over the long term were pretty devastating, right? We had banking systems become more entrenched. We might have people keep their jobs, but it comes at the cost of long-term benefits to society. Right now, we have a much more centralized banking system. We've had this explosion of decentralized finance to fight against the centralized finance system. And I think that her comments come from a very proto-capitalist stance, but also just from an understanding of like the way we've been running things has not been working. So let things change how they should. Zach, throw it up to you.
Yeah, I mean, for better or worse, crypto is still really small, right? There's never going to be, at this state of the industry, the political pressure to act and bail out some of these actors that have become systemically important to this little wee world of the crypto stuff. So we're not going to see like government intervention here. So you do get the opportunity to see market forces play out in real time. And I think, Commissioner Hester Peirce is saying here, we need to see the natural selection unfold in the crypto markets, and that's a fine thing. There is pain along the way for small-time users of these services, and so there is some degree of controversy to what she is saying. She's saying, okay, well, if Celsius or BlockFi goes belly up, so be it. Those creditors, those people who are involved in those platforms may feel that pain, and I think that's something that also needs to be articulated here. But in broad strokes, I think crypto is again these pure market forces and this kind of hardcore capitalistic thing that we're seeing unfold right now in these times of crisis. So it's interesting to see a very prominent person such as Hester go out here and say kind of what everyone is sort of thinking, right? This is going to wash away some of the lesser projects, and hopefully the stronger ones will survive the forest fire and grow to be the big trees. But I'll toss it to Jen for her thoughts.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in there, the article said that she's not condoning any suffering, and she's very sympathetic for anyone who suffered due to the market downturn, but she remains cautiously optimistic as the market is looking to correct itself. But Wendy, I'll toss it up to you.
Yeah, I have to speak on this. So
I don't know who to pass it to.
I have to speak on this because I got my story next, but I get what she's saying. I understand it. But at the same time, she's a public servant. And the public servants have really let the American people down as a whole, as we've had years and years and years to establish some sort of framework, some sort of regulation, some sort of consumer protections. And the public servants have failed us. So now these are not necessarily super small companies. These are very large companies with a very large database, BlockFi, Voyager, Celsius, and whatever else. Also, crypto is still essentially operating in a free market. So if somebody with large pockets wants to come in and step in and bail these companies out, that's their business. That's going to be a risk that they have to take. I understand the capitalist perspective, but I'm very much about, people doing what they need to do to improve their quality of life. But at the same time, you can't be a public servant And you can't sit and bail out the banks and bail out other large corporations, but then when retail's getting hit hard, say, no, we're not going to bail you out. We're going to make you learn your lesson. Why aren't they bailing out, or why are they, when they continue to bail out the banks and these large corporations that are dictating a lot of the issues that we have in this current economy? Zach, go ahead.
Well, I think the answer is because way many more people use banks than they use crypto lending services, right? So there's no political pressure at this point of where the crypto industry is, that like there's no group of people with pitchforks saying like, we need help, or else, like we're going to lose our life savings and like, I'll lose my job. That's not happening yet here in crypto.
Yet.
It is still relatively small. I think yet is an important note to have in there. But right now, I think the pressure for government intervention certainly isn't there. Wendy, your point about sort of like private companies making business decisions to step in times of crisis, that is an aspect of this playing out sort of, again, with those sort of raw market forces. It's just really interesting to see Hester get out here and be like, yep, survival of the fittest. Let's see what happens. But Jen, I saw your hand. I'm going to give you last thought on this one.
I just want to say, I don't think it's fair to lump Hester Peirce, crypto mom, in with all of the other public servants. She is crypto mom. She has been a long time supporter
that
of
title
the
is so
industry.
cringe.
And
that's like the most
if
cringe title.
only
you would say that.
You're crypto dad, Zach.
Yeah,
that's
you
Christian
are crypto
Carlo.
dad on this show.
No, that's Christian Carlos, former
Crypto uncle. Quiet.
Crypto uncle.
Crypto weird
Crypto
uncle.
cranky
Thanks,
uncle.
guys. God. Getting dragged.